choice when it comes to sweeteners. Fox Medical Team's Beth Galvin will join us with some options. Plus, history could be made at the Oscars this weekend in more ways than one. Changes to the ceremony are causing a stir, and in the impossible to predict Best Picture category, one nominee promises to send shockwaves through the industry. But let's begin with what's our top story once again, the weather. And Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Feldman is tracking the rain and everything that comes with it.
I'd be okay if it wasn't the top story.
I know.
For a little while. My goodness. Yeah, still raining a lot this morning. More on the way. You know the drill by now.
Yeah,
no?
and that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, this is.
Question is, when does it stop? And we're going to take a look at that. Some of you getting a break now, but some of you not so much. And this front that you see draped across the state is not going to be in a hurry to move. Instead, it's going to stall out and more waves of rain will travel along it. A lot of the heavier rainfall amounts for a few days now have been, but also will continue to be, across areas northwest of Interstate 85. Obviously, that doesn't mean southeast of 85 you won't get any rain. It's just that your rainfall amounts should be a bit lighter. I was trying to show you a map there of all of the rainfall total so far, but what we do know is some of the heaviest amounts just over the course of this morning have been in northwest Georgia, where up to 1 to 2 inches fell in big downpours, and there was just a ton of thunder to be heard with lightning very early this morning. That part seems to have tapered off, and Floyd County in particular is getting a well-deserved break in the rain. Take it for as long as it lasts. You've already had some rivers approaching flood stage, and adding so much rain this morning certainly not helping the situation. Right around Dahlonega through the heart of Lumpkin County, that's where our heaviest rain is falling now and moving very quickly to the northeast. We've got a really strong jet stream that's just pushing these showers and storms along very quickly. The problem is there's just another one right behind it, and that's why it feels like the rain is never ending. And even though there's not much on the radar for Atlanta, it is another morning of drizzle and also thick fog. Visibility has been lowest and continues to be at the airport, where it's below 1/4 of a mile. So take your pick. It's either rain reducing the visibility or thick fog. Fog should improve over the next couple of hours here. Flash flood watch, though, that's in effect through 7 o'clock this evening for an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain in some areas. Now, keep in mind that also accounts for what already fell this morning. So what falls from here? Areas south of I-20 that have not measured much over the last few days might get a round of downpours swinging through this afternoon. So the amounts today will be widely varying. You might get only a few hundredths, or you could get caught under a storm where you get over an inch of rain in a very short window there. So let's go through the hour-by-hour forecast just to see sort of a late morning, early afternoon lull. But at any hour of the day, today or tonight, there will be some showers or some storms on our map in the Fox 5 viewing area. Same for tomorrow and Saturday. The end early Sunday morning, but it might end with a bang with a line of strong to severe storms coming through first thing in the morning. Most of Sunday is sunny and dry. That's our warmest day, too, close to 70. And sunny and dry weather for 2 more days after that. We'll total up as many of those as we possibly can right now. Elise?
Just getting a little bit closer to all of that. Looking forward to when we can ditch the rain. Joanne,
Yes.
thank you. Time is 9:03. Well, a woman and her dog survived after she lost control of her car and landed in a Canton Creek. Heavy rain had turned that creek into a raging river. Good as Mark Teichner has the story.
This is the Tunai River, and it goes from a babbling brook, it turns into a raging river.
And that's what it was like as Kayla Pimentel was driving on Canton's Transarc Parkway. She lost control, flew through the guardrail and right into Tunai Creek.
All the airbags had gone off. Both of the front doors were crushed in, so she couldn't get either door open. The back window was broken, so the water was rushing in.
Pimentel grabbed her dog and escaped out the back window. The water pushed them about 100 yards downstream. Pimentel managed to get to land, but unfortunately the dog slipped out of her hands and into the rushing water. She then climbed this 50-foot embankment looking for help.
We brought her inside and so we could get her warm, and I spoke with 911.
Responding crews couldn't find either the dog or the car.
There was no part of the vehicle, the bumper, top of the car, nothing. The vehicle was completely submerged because the water had risen in the creek.
Neighbors looked all night, fearing the dog might have been swept over the waterfall. The next morning, Felicia McCallar went to the other side of the falls and found the pup, scared but unharmed. Hours later, he and Pimentel were reunited.
She was just so excited. She brought a stuffed toy because she wasn't sure if he was going to come to her right away because of all the shock, and it went right to her. So it was great.
Glad that they're okay. That was Mark Teichner reporting there. Time is 9:05 now, and right now Atlanta police are looking for one more suspect after a string of car break-ins in southeast Atlanta. 3 teens were arrested at the scene. Good day's Alexa Liaco is live for us at APD headquarters with more, and didn't take them long to find at least 2 of them, Alexa.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And police were able to catch up with those thieves so quickly because someone who lived in the apartment complex actually saw them in the act of breaking into cars, and then they called the cops.
They had broken into 7 vehicles.
Around 1 a.m. on Thursday morning, a resident in this apartment complex called 911 after seeing multiple people breaking into cars in the parking garage.
They gave the description of the males and that they were actually breaking into the vehicles, and they were able to actually identify them afterwards.
Police were able to get to the scene quickly, and they blocked the gate and trapped the thieves in the parking garage.
Luckily for us, not for them, most of the doors were already closed except for one, so it was one way in, one way out, and nowhere for them to really go.
The police were able to arrest 3 of the suspects.
When they arrived on scene, they located 3 of the males, actually trying to hide inside 2 stolen cars. An additional male did escape, so but we were lucky to get 3 out of the 4.
Now those 3 teens are under arrest not only for breaking into 7 cars, but also for driving stolen cars to do the break-ins.
The 3 males that were in custody were all in their late teens. One of them did have a warrant.
And police did let us know that of the cars that were broken into, there were some items that were taken, including someone's purse, but those items have since been recovered and will be returned to the owners. Live at APD headquarters, Alexa Liaco for Good Day Atlanta.
All right, Alexa, thank you for the update. Time is 9:07 now. Let's get you caught up on more of what's happening today. We'll check in with Good Day Atlanta Sharon Lawson. Sharon, good morning.
Good morning, Elise. We're going to start off with a story that we've all been watching and following ever since it broke. Empire star Jussie Smollett is now in custody in Chicago and will go before a judge later today on a felony charge of filing a false police report. The actor told police he was the victim of a homophobic and racist attack. But in a city full of surveillance cameras, investigators couldn't find any video of the attack. Well, later, 2 brothers who were brought in for questioning told police Smollett had paid them to carry out the attack. The 2 testified yesterday before a grand jury, and that grand jury then indicted Smollett. Another Delta flight was possibly hit by lightning earlier this morning. It's the 2nd plane reportedly hit by lightning this week. Last night's flight was heading from New York to Atlanta when this took place. Delta tells us the plane landed safely. No one was hurt, and they're doing a thorough evaluation of the aircraft. Well, fans usually help cheer on the team for the win, but last night in Athens, a Bulldogs fan blew a tied game against Mississippi State. Quindary Weatherspoon was fouled by Jordan Harris with a half-second left. He missed 2 of the 3 free throws, but then a fan threw a small stuffed bulldog on the court. The ref called a technical foul, giving Weatherspoon another free throw. The ball goes in on that try, and the Dogs lose 68-67. That's huge. Tough loss. A TV reporter in Virginia was caught off guard while preparing for a live report. Watch as she gets pelted right there with a rush of snow as a plow drives by her. Some areas of Virginia received up to 8 inches of snow as the winter storm moved through the state. Neighbors are also dealing with freezing rain and ice, prompting officials to issue travel advisories ahead of the morning commute. I'm glad she's okay, and at least she's laughing about it after the fact, right, Elise?
Hey, it made for good video.
It really did. It really did.
All right, thank you, Sharon. Time is 9:09 now. Coming up on Good Day Atlanta, we're going to get it together with author Lauren Berger. Her new book has advice to help you stop spinning your wheels and make the most of your time. That's next.
Yay.
Nice. Sit over here next to Lee.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Good. Ooh.
Glad you're here.
Yeah. First show that you're on, or were you on one in Arkansas before?
Yeah. So I've done this for 7, 8 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch then, and now just like whenever I'm traveling to a city, I'll like try to. I actually don't have one yet. I'm gonna launch one, but being on like
Other
the
people's.
like even like
Gotcha.
the Bachelor people, being on their podcast has
Really?
like.
Perfect song choice, Mark. Thank you. If you constantly feel busy, well, you're not alone. Author and career management expert Lauren Berger tackles that very question in her new book, Get It Together. She's here this morning to help us refocus, recharge, and really just get stuff done. So we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
could
for
use the
having me.
help for sure. I know I can. Let's start with this. Why do we feel so busy?
You know, I was so sick of hearing how busy everybody is all the time. Like, nobody says they're good anymore,
Nobody.
right? Everyone's slammed, crazed, running around like a chicken with their head cut off. I mean, we're all so busy and we're obsessed with the busy. And I think we're scared of not being so busy, and we think that busy is going to make us happy, but it doesn't. We're overwhelmed, we're anxious, we're everything but happy, right? So I wrote this book because I felt like we all needed to get the heck out of our own way and, you know, kind of focus and reorganize our priorities.
Well, it's interesting to hear, too, that this is not just a problem that, like, we have, that this is something that's far reaching, that it's
everybody,
kind of like an epidemic, right?
Yeah, and it's starting early. It's starting in high school and college when these students are told to be part of everything and to do everything all the time. And I think Instagram plays a big role in it, right? We're all showing what we're doing, and we want to make it look like we have plans all the time.
Right.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah, and we're going to circle back around to that whole Instagram thing in just a second. But I want to talk about this too. How can we leave the office feeling accomplished instead of that overwhelming feeling?
Right. Because we're all sitting at work for so long. Why do we leave feeling overwhelmed and like we got nothing done? So I think that a few things people can do. One is try to make your to-do list for the next day before you leave the office. That way, when you get to work in the morning, boom, you're focused, you can dive right in. Also, take the top 3 things from your to-do list and focus on those items. You can't get 100 things done. Get over it, right? Take your top 3 to 5 things and really focus on those items. At work, make sure you have an agenda for everything, especially internal meetings. I find that internal meetings go on forever because there's
most people would agree with you on that.
Yeah, because there's no agenda and there's no one really taking them seriously and taking charge. So those are some things that'll help.
Okay, now I do want to talk about Instagram. The bottom line is, for the most part, we kind of need to stop scrolling, don't we?
Yeah, and I think it's making little changes and then really celebrating those small wins that you can make. So I challenge you, right, to stop scrolling first thing in the morning and the last thing at night before you go to bed. Do things for yourself when you wake up in the morning. Do things that are about you, that make you feel relaxed when you go to bed. You know, stop the scroll finger, right? We all do it. And stop focusing on other people. Really focus on yourself and just put a timer on it. You know, 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's it. Do you really need to be scrolling any longer than that?
Absolutely not. It's addicting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
To cut that out. That's something that I'm going to work on. And something that you briefly mentioned earlier, prioritizing yourself and talking about self-care. I mean, that goes along with all this this too, right?
Yeah, and I think you have to take yourself just as seriously as you take your work. So if you feel like you're never getting to the gym, well, put it in your calendar as if it's a work meeting, right? And if you're in a position where you can kind of dictate what goes on at your office, you know, tell your assistant, tell everybody around you, like, you are booked from this to this. You don't need to tell them what you're doing, but, you know, go to the gym, take a walk, do what you need to do, and prioritize yourself, because we're all so focused on the busy that we don't get time to ourselves, and then we're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. So you got to
Vicious cycle,
prioritize
right?
you. Self-care, yes.
Self-care, I love that. Helping us take care of ourselves in 2019. Lauren, thank
Absolutely.
you so much for coming today.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Lauren Berger's book, Get It Together, Ditch the Chaos, Do the Work, Design Your Success, is on sale now. Time is 9:16 now. Let's check back in with Fox